Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon. Tony, can you believe we lost to Emmy again last night?
Not if I can pull his plaque off with Chris Collinsworth's name on it.
Hey, don't do that.
Why
you can't
not?
do that.
Why not? Why should he get them all the time?
It's not acceptable. You got to win it. You can't pilfer it.
We won it once.
How did you get that out of Collinsworth's stash?
I paid somebody. Collinsworth has about 15.
He's got a lot of them.
Not that he's not deserving. He's got about 15. How about
Stop
sharing
like
it with
Charles,
somebody else
Kenny,
once in a
and
while?
Ernie.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, LeSean McCoy calls out Chip Kelly. The Warriors falter, and LeBron aims to keep the Cavs from losing to the Bulls again. But we begin today with the Ted Wells report on Deflategate. It clears Bill Belichick and lands on Tom Brady. It finds circumstantial evidence that, quote, it is more probable than not that the New England Patriots personnel participated in violations of the NFL playing rules, unquote, and that Brady, quote, was at least generally aware of the inappropriate activities, unquote. Wilbon, what is the valid punishment for Tom Brady, the biggest star in the NFL?
Well, Tony, the evidence, while a mountain of it, is still circumstantial. I mean, there's no, the proverbial smoking gun.
That's right.
But because of the Patriots' own activities, which didn't perhaps even involve Tom Brady, Spygate, but it involved the organization, Tom Brady would take some hit here. And Tom Brady stood there before the nation in a news conference way back when and basically denied knowing anything or taking part in anything. So
if you ran the NFL, what would you do?
If I ran the league, I would suspend Tom Brady, suspend him. Because that's the only thing. Don't talk about money. Don't talk about organizational draft picks. Right. Suspension. 3-4 games. I mean, I'd have to hit him. I'd have to hit him here for lying. I mean, and did he lie to his owner? Did he lie to his coach? Now, I think the league is going to do nothing. You know my stance on this. Mm-hmm. When this comes out, whether there's wrongdoing or not, the league is not going to punish Tom Brady. I don't think it will, but I think some is due.
All right. I'm going to talk for a little while here, okay? Because, first of all, Tom Brady doesn't have to cheat to win. We're going to go back over some numbers. In the second half of the Indianapolis game, I'll tell America. In the second half of the Indianapolis game, when the balls were inflated to the proper amount, he's 12 of 14, 3 touchdowns in the second half. In the Super Bowl, when the footballs are inflated to the proper amount, he's 37 out of 50 with 4 touchdowns, okay? And I think he has to get games. It's as simple as that. And part of it is that because he's Tom Brady, the golden boy, and because this commissioner has suspended, and you'll forgive me for this, so many black players along the way, that when you get somebody like Tom Brady, and it's not, he didn't hit a woman in the head and knock her out, and he didn't murder anybody,
of the game,
and it's circumstantial, but it speaks to the integrity of the game.
It does.
All right? And even though it's circumstantial, I think in this case his fame and his reputation hurts him a little bit, because I think he has to get games, including the first game, the opener,
Thursday Night Football.
That's right, which gets an enormous rating. I'm not sure if I would give him. I'd give him at least 2. I'm not sure if I'd go as high as 4, but you could talk me into 4.
Tony, you could talk me into 4. Talk me into 2, but he has to have something. Look, if you attempt to circumvent the rules gain a competitive advantage, what more could the league want in talking about the integrity of the league? What could? But do you think the league will do what we're talking about?
Yes, I do. And because of the term that we've come to talk about, and we'll talk about a lot more today, the optics of it.
Yeah.
And I think they will do it. And I think they'll surprise you. And I think they will do it. I do.
They're going to surprise
you. And I'm not, you know what? I'm not even sure it's right. But I think he's got to get it.
I don't know how much of an advantage he gains, but these are their rules. The NFL sets up these rules.
That's right.
After boldly telling Roger Goodell in January he expected an apology if the investigation turned up nothing, Patriots owner Robert Kraft issued a statement today saying essentially that while there's no definitive proof of wrongdoing, the organization will accept the report's findings. So with all that in mind, should the Patriots be punished as an organization?
Without question. The NFL made this into a very big deal, as did Robert Kraft. And these are the findings that came out. And you mentioned Spygate before. Tom Brady probably had nothing to do with Spygate whatsoever. And I'm sure a lot of people would love to see this land on Belichick, but he was excluded. So what you have to do is look at an organization, a great organization with 4 Super Bowl wins. And you have to say, you know what? If we don't hit them, we're just going to hit the little guys. Yeah. You have to hit them. Now, what do you do to an organization? Really, all you can do is draft picks and fines. Because you're not going to take the Super Bowl trophy away. That's ludicrous. And I know you don't think anything's going to happen in this one either. And once again, I believe they will be fined millions of dollars.
Because and they may even was hundreds of thousands.
They may lose a 1. They may lose a 1.
You know, Tony, what's interesting about this? Of course, people, have their conspiracy theories. They say, oh, the NFL waited purposely to pass the draft so they wouldn't have to bounce the Patriots this year. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't believe taking a draft pick from an organization as thorough and as smart as the Patriots amounts to anything.
Well, what else are you going to do?
Wait. I agree you do this. I'm just saying to you it doesn't really hit them. I guess you could find them so much money, you could take away something. You could be like the NCAA and vacate. Look, but speaking of NCAA, you know what this speaks to, what we're speaking to, is the lack of institutional control. Yes, if all these people are under one umbrella, one of the member clubs, as they like to say in New York, then they have to be hit.
Sure, they have to. And in this particular case, unlike what happened with Bountygate, they don't find a GM specifically responsible. They specifically exclude the coach. So you have to go to the team, and the only things that matter to the team is money and draft picks. And you have, Mike, I don't know how they can't take them away. You cannot punish Tom Brady and not the team. That's absurd. And a lot of people out there are going to say, well, the Patriots are cheaters and they should lose Super Bowls.
Well,
they shouldn't. No,
it's not the NCAA.
No.
And they're not going to. Do you think they're going to wait and see sort of what public pressure is like? Because the NFL used to punish and then wait for the reaction. Well, that doesn't work anymore.
They got in trouble with that.
So how long do they wait here?
I think it will be very brief, the wait. I think they put all their eggs in the basket of Ted Wells, and I think if they don't stand by that, even though it's all circumstantial, if they don't punish, what did you have the investigation for?
And then you're asking people to suspend sort of the use of common sense, and people aren't going to do that.
LeSean McCoy told ESPN magazine that Chip Kelly, quote, wants the full control. You see how fast he got rid of all the good players, especially all the good black players. He got rid of them the fastest. That's the truth. There's a reason, unquote. McCoy is not only speaking about his departure, but surely about Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. Wilbon, something or nothing?
Oh, this is a big something. This is a huge something. Tony, an organization, and Philly is this organization, they were able to sort of get around the Riley Cooper episode in large part. I mean, Cooper handled himself going forward in a much better manner. And also, black players put their arm around Riley Cooper and said,
Michael Vick,
we're not having that.
Michael
Vick specifically.
Michael Vick did.
But you know what? When you have a second incident with one club, and I know that wasn't on Chip Kelly's watch.
No.
But when you have a second incident, he has to coach black players, which is still about 65, 68% of the league. He's got to recruit them as free agents. Now, I don't know that I'm ready to subscribe to everything Shady McCoy said here. But, Tony, there is a feeling about the league with this, not just Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, when this happened before with Riley Cooper, he didn't run the team. Chip Kelly, he coached the team. He didn't have the say that he has now. I really think in the interest of fairness, because it reads to me there's only two ways to read this, that McCoy is either calling him a racist, flat out a racist, Chip Kelly, or he's saying that in his control, black players refuse to be controlled. I don't know what she's saying.
I think there's a certain appearance or perception here, Tony, which you can
I think
draw.
What I'm saying is we need more from LeSean McCoy.
Right.
When a guy says there's a reason, he's got to say, well, exactly what is the reason. Yeah. Now, Chip Kelly did bring in DeMarco Murray, who last time I looked was a black player of consequence. All right. The biggest story in the NFL was Chip Kelly before this, and now even more so, the way that LeBron is the biggest story in the NBA all the time. He has the most pressure put on him by himself, and now he has the most because of this.
All eyes.
So this is a big deal.
Also, I would point out that Chip Kelly got rid of Nick Foles, who last I checked is white. But Tony, I don't want to totally strike down what Shady's saying here for this reason.
Explain it.
He's got to explain it.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not the first person to give voice to the notion that black stars are looked at differently in this league than other leagues. He's not the first person to give voice to that.
I'm not concerned with the league. I'm concerned with this team.
With this guy.
He's just said that Chip Kelly acted for racial reasons.
This doesn't go away easily, by the way.
It does not.
Tony, moving to mere sports. You'd have been shocked if you were awake early this morning.
I wasn't
about 1 a.m. Eastern time.
No chance.
When your Warriors lost to Memphis and Oakland. What happened? It was just the Dubs' third home court loss all season, and as a result, they've at least temporarily lost home court advantage. And now the Grizzlies have back in their lineup the masked Mike Conley, whose 22 points led the way. On the other side, the Splash Brothers telling this 14 to 17 three-pointers. Is this just one fluke loss? Or do you read more into what happened to your squad last night?
Is that what the NBA insiders call the Warriors, the Dubs?
Dubs.
I like how you did that. If I were the Warriors, I would be concerned. Of course I would be concerned. For most of the year, the team in second place behind them was Memphis. It's not a ragtag outfit. Conley's really good. Gasol is really good. Randolph's really good.
You had a specific reason you said Memphis is underrated all year.
They're underappreciated, not underrated. They're underappreciated all the time. I don't know if the Warriors underappreciate them, but they don't at the moment. And if Tony Allen can force Steph Curry into subpar nights, you'd be crazy not to be concerned. They just lost at home.
First team all defense.
I believe he said that a number of times.
I believe he did too. Mike Conley is, if the team is the most underappreciated, you raise a good point. I've heard you said all year because they're in Memphis.
Small market.
They live in Memphis.
Nobody knows who they are.
Right. Mike Conley's the most underappreciated player on the most underappreciated team.
Give you that.
People don't list him with the elite point guards, but he's one with a mask on and a fracture. I mean, his face is finally getting back to Mike Conley.
Russell Westbrook with a mask scored 80,000 points a game.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, try not to tell me the mask is.
But the way he played last night, the way they defended. Look, if they hit 5 more three-pointers, the Dubs, which they usually do, just those 2 players, they win the game. I think it's something, but not necessarily a big something.
I think the Warriors are going to win, but I also wonder how you feel about this. This happened right on the heels of Steph Curry winning the MVP. I think that's a distraction to some degree.
Like ring night?
Yeah, I do.
Like ring night. I made that comparison. Yeah.
The Washington Wizards came back to earth a little bit in Atlanta, losing to the Hawks last night. Most notable for the Wizards was the absence of their best player and lead guard, John Wall. Wall has a swollen hand, and it hasn't yet been determined whether Wall will play in Saturday's Game 3. Wilbon, can the Wizards win without Wall?
No. Just like Memphis can't win without Mike Conley, just like the Bulls can't win without Derrick Rose.
Well, the Clippers won.
And like the Clippers cannot win a series without CP3. Now, you can get a game.
You win a game.
You can get a game. And John Wall has to be out there, Tony. And as you've noted, following this team as closely as you do, John Wall has gotten better.
Yes, he has.
In his fourth quarters, which left a lot to be desired for a long time, they've gotten better. And John Wall in his fifth year
really assists. Many more assists,
Tony. And so he and Bradley Beal start that team. Yes, Paul Pierce is important. Yes, the big men inside are important. But it's Wall and Beal, and it's Wall.
You have to look at the replacement. And I agree with you. You can win 1 game without anybody, but you can't win 4. That's just not how it works. Ramon Sessions comes in. He's a backup point guard. He scored more points than Wall did the previous night. He only had 4 assists. Wall gets 4 assists in a quarter most of the time. Wall can get 15, 16, 18 assists in a game. He's the engine on the team. Sometimes too fast, but this year, late in the year, he's been very good. In the playoffs, he's been very good. If he can't play, they just have no chance of winning. Because Atlanta, let's remember, while Atlanta looks vulnerable, they looked vulnerable with Brooklyn, and they won the games they had to win. They had to win last night, and they won. But Wall, as you know, is not just their best ball handler. He's their only ball handler.
The only one. He has the ball all the time.
Nobody else handles.
It's much like Chris Paul without having a Blake Griffin.
Well, but there's no second guy.
I know that. Look, the Wizards, Tony, I still think can win this series. You know what they benefit from is not playing again until Saturday. Game 3 is Saturday.
Wall's hand should be a normal hand by then.
It could be, because right now it's about as big as this thing.
Yeah.
The swelling. Yeah. I just hope nothing else is wrong with it. Hope John Wall's going to be all right by Saturday.
Let's take a break. Coming up, LeBron says the Cavs can't go down 0-2 to the Bulls, so will he score more than 30 tonight?
Way more. Yep. And is a full-figured 41-year-old due for a career season?
Check that out.
On the mound. That's full figure.
And that is a lot of eating.
That's like,
I envy that.
I don't envy that.
I do.
That's a lot.
Geico presents Strange Saving Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Time for over-under, or as Wilbon plays it, push it.
Push it real good.
You're in charge of the topic.
Yeah,
Mike,
push it. Tony, 30 points tonight in Game 2 in Cleveland. 4. LeBron.
I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go under.
Get out.
I'm going to go under, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I think it's an Uncle Milty situation, and he's going to score as many as he needs to win.
Okay.
It could be anywhere between 28 and 45, as far as I'm concerned. But if you pay attention to that Derrick Rose thing, 2 days off, 1 day off, then Derrick Rose only going to score 14, going to shoot badly, going to have a lot of turnovers.
And LeBron's not going to need to do as much.
Bang.
That's fine. I'm going to go way over. Because I think LeBron is going to pay no attention to this, and LeBron knows not to go down 0-2 without Kevin Love, while Kevin Love's been made fun of nationally. The fact is they need him, and you got to go to Chicago. And you're playing a team that hates you.
Right.
They do. They just do.
Right.
They know this is the only chance they got maybe to get past LeBron and get to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Finals. So I'm going to go way over LeBron. You said 35. I'm going to say over. LeBron's at 36, 37 points tonight.
What's next?
Tony, plus minus for James Harden. 0 over under.
Well, we do that because he was minus 22 in game 1 with Chris Paul off the floor.
Yeah.
Paul unlikely to play tonight.
I'm
just going to say this, that Harden's game is going to be much more buttoned up tonight. He's not going to have 9 turnovers.
That's right.
I think it's possible that at no point in the game will the Clippers lead the game. So I'm not going to go over by millions, but I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over a lot. James Harden has a lot of skills.
You over a lot twice in a row.
Personal reputation. Because the Houston Rockets, in game 1,
bad.
They were dogs.
Yeah.
Look, Chris Paul was out, and the Clippers were great without him. They were great what the Clippers did. But you don't come out for a home game and have the doggish non-effort the Rockets
had. But you know that
had.
He's only +4 personally for the entire playoff.
He has to prove everything's on the line for James Harden and the Rockets. He'll be way over. Things are even up tonight, Tony. Home runs, 22 of them for your boy, Bryce Harper.
Yeah, that's his career high is 22. He had 3 today. 2 of them were bombs, one about 430 feet. He's got 8 on the season. I'm going over. If you remember last year, we had 110 for the year. You went under, I went over. He hit 13. Okay. And that's because the only thing that gives me pause is he's injured a lot. He misses a lot of games.
Played decreasing number of
games last year, but I'm going over.
Smarter.
Over.
Once again, I'm going way over. I'm going to go up to 25 or 26 home runs for Bryce Harper.
That's way over. Way over is 38 to 42. That's way over.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Well, why not?
23 is over. between 25 and 30 home runs for Bryce Harper. He's a star. That's time to prove it. Time to prove it. 27 Yankees.
He's proving it, and that was very weak. What's next?
15.5 wins this year for your boy, Bartolo Colon.
Now, he's, is he 42 at the moment? 41, 42 at the moment. I don't think age is a big deal for him because recently, in the last 3 years, since he hit 40, he's 38 and 20. He's 5-1 this year. You know who he is? He's Jamie Moyer. He's pitching for a good team. The Mets are a good team. I watched him beat the Nats earlier this year. He gave up like 4 hits the whole game. I'm going over. Not way over, but over.
I'm not going to go way over here. No. I'm going over for the 4th time, 16, 17 wins. Look, he was 18-6 2 years ago with a 2.65 ERA.
Yeah.
Even last year when his ERA was up to over 4, he was 15-13.
Yes.
Tony, here's the great stat for Bartolo Colon. 34 strikeouts, 1 base on ball.
Yeah, and by the way, he's still locate 80 miles an hour and not people can't hit. So you're going way over? You're going to be a man go 4 in a row?
16. I'm going over. 16, 17 wins over, narrowly.
You went over all the time.
I did.
Weak. That's it.
Weak.
Over-under's over.
Manly.
Let's take one last break, but still to come, your boy Jim Harbaugh believes Judge Judy should be on, the Supreme Court. Should that happen?
He can't make that happen. And is this an acceptable way to pull out your kid's tooth?
By swinging a javelin. What do you think? Not a javelina, a javelin. You like that? You take one of Matthew's teeth out that way?
No.
Why not?
ESPN Radio.
With the action on the court, the diamond, or the gridiron.
Comes alive.
The NBA.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Major League Baseball.
San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
The new college football playoff.
College football playoff national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Your home for the best in sports play-by-play.
ESPN Radio.
Happy time, people. Happy 84th birthday, Willie Mays. My favorite player of all time is generally considered the greatest baseball player of the second half of the 20th century. His 660 home runs were just equaled by Alex Rodriguez, whose career is distinguished by cheating. The Yankees should pay Mays that $6 million for getting all of his homers legitimately.
You've been so restrained. It finally comes out. You must hate it that A-Rod claims to have tied your hero.
Happy anniversary, Babe Ruth. On this day 100 years ago, playing for the Red Sox, Ruth hit the first of 714 Major League home runs. Coincidentally, in that game, he also pitched 12 innings. If Willie Mays is generally considered the greatest player of the second half of the 20th century, George Herman Ruth is unquestionably the greatest player of the first half.
The fact that he was Maddox for a half and then Babe Ruth for the other half of his career, I still can't get over that. People still don't appreciate all that Ruth did.
Happy trails to Brian Clay's daughter's tooth. The former gold medal decathlete tried this novel way of pulling his daughter's loose tooth. He attached it to a javelin and threw it out of her mouth. Wilbon, this is insane. But look at this guy, pulling a child's tooth out by hitting a golf ball. What kind of horrifying trend are we seeing here?
What happened to just letting it fall out and then putting some money under the kid's pillow? That's all I've done in the last few months for young Matthew. Awful golf ball.
No errors today.
Really?
Another reason we deserve the Emmy.
Got cheated.
Running out of on the big finish.
Let's do it.
Angels catcher Carlos Perez hit a walk-off homer in his first Major League game. Are you impressed?
Yeah, fourth player to do it. Cabrera is one of the others. We don't know the other two. Jim Harbaugh tells Fox he'd love to see Judge Judy on the Supreme Court. You with him, right?
I think it's a great idea, but she makes $45 million a year, and they pay for that job about $210,000.
You're not thinking that pay.
The NCAA has added 3 college bowl games, setting a record high of 42 to be played in 2015. You can't be okay with this.
82 of 127 teams are going to appear in a bowl game. Only my team is, my school's one of them.
You
That'd be
can't.
okay. Ohio State coach Urban Meyer had his appendix removed. What should he do with it?
You know what he should do with it?
What?
He should sign it. He should put it in a FedEx pack and send it to Jim Harbaugh at Michigan.
That'd be funny.
That's what he ought to do. Last one, 2 NHL playoff games tonight. Who you got in them?
I'm going to upset you. I'm going to have the Rangers, who have to win tonight to keep them going down 3-1.
They're going to block the red?
Here,
They're going to
while rocking the red. And I have the Canadiens down 2-0, going to Tampa, climbing back in that series. They have to win too.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads.
2 of baseball's best go head-to-head in interleague action when the Tigers head to St. Louis to face the Cardinals. That one is gone. The pregame at 7 Eastern, first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN and ESPN Radio.